Folks, whose side are you on? I'll get into that and then the latest home prices and insights for York Region for week ending May 14th, 2025. I'm working with these buyer clients, husband and wife, and for sake, I'm not going to use their real names, but for sake of the conversation, let's just say it's Jack and Jill. These are move-up buyers. So we're selling their about 2,500 square foot home that they've lived in for many years, and they're moving up to a much more substantial home. Now, there's lots of homes to choose from. So it's not a question of not finding the right home. The obstacle that we're having, and here's where I need you to help me choose a side, is Jack prefers to live in more of an established type neighborhood, an older, more mature type neighborhood. And Jill is looking for a home that's much newer, because in the older established type neighborhood, the homes are not as new. So what Jill's looking for is something newer, as much square footage as possible, and that's found in the newer type neighborhoods. Now, these home types are they're sometimes almost like opposites. In the older established neighborhoods, the homes are maybe, for their price point, maybe around 3,000 to 3,500 square feet. I mean, it's a good sized home. It's not like it's small by any means. So about 3,000 to 3,500 square feet, renovated, but they have big yards. And when you drive down the street, you can see a distinction between each home. You see big trees. It's a much older, more established. Many of the homes have been renovated, sometimes more than once, and that's that kind of a neighborhood. Whereas in the newer type neighborhood, and what the attraction for Jill is that for the same price point in the newer type neighborhood, you're getting a home, well, that's new, just 2 years, 3 years, 5 years old. You're getting a home that is sometimes 1,500 or 2,000 square feet larger than the home in the established neighborhood. The differences are that the yard is much smaller. When you drive through that new subdivision, it doesn't have to be brand new, newer subdivision. The homes kind of all look the same from the outside. Sure, there's some slight differences, but they're pretty much, they all look the same when you drive through that subdivision. I did mention the yards are much smaller, but the homes are far larger, and everything inside is brand new. If you happen to leave one home and go into another home, because we're seeing multiple properties that are listed for sale, you kind of see the same finishes in some of the homes. The quality of work, the features that each home has is kind of duplicated. I mean, it's a subdivision, right? So the builders built so many homes with the same floor plans, the same quality materials. And the contrast, getting back to the type of home that Jack's interested in, large home still, but in a newer subdivision. He's after the larger lot, the more established, the different type of home. So this is where I'm kind of looking for what side are you on? Are you on the Jill side? For the same budget, get the biggest home you could buy. It's okay that it's in a newer subdivision. They all look the same, smaller lots. Or are you in Jack's corner, where the older subdivision, a bit more character, more established, mature trees? Are you in that corner? Let me know in the comments below. If you think this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. If you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. If you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. There's a link below this video in the description. It's a link to my calendar, or go directly to tsre.ca. That'll take it to my calendar. Click on that, book a time and date that suits you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Now, let's get into the numbers. Folks, at the end of the show, there will be a link on the screen to a modern custom log cabin. This is a 4-season home. It's located the other side of Lake Simcoe. Check out the link at the end of this video. Let's get started. So we're looking at York Region areas. We're going to be basically focused on detached properties for Vaughan, Richmond Hill, and Markham. Here's a summary of average sold prices going back 3 months. Prices generally been flat for a while, but now they look like they're starting to trend down. Not starting, have been trending down for a little bit. So for week ending May 14th, 26 detached properties were sold. This is for Vaughan. I'm starting with the Vaughan area here. Detached properties. 26 were sold. 4 of those sold at $2 million or more. Average sold price, it's been kind of dropping down the last few weeks. It's at $1,573,000. 1,573 is 6% lower than where we were this time a year ago. The median price of 1,460 is 10% lower year over year. Now, if we kind of look over the last 3 months, average prices, both average and median prices, and I'm looking at the dotted line, which is a 4-week moving average. For a while there, since the beginning of March, they were trending up to about mid-April, and now they're kind of starting to go the other way, trending down slightly. 26 were sold, almost a third, 31% sold at list price or more. Listings, look, listings are way up. For this week ending May 14th, 120 detached properties were listed. That's just in Vaughan. Not for York Region, just Vaughan. 120 were listed. It is the most listings we've seen so far this whole year. The previous week was the second highest amount of listings, and the week before that was the third highest, tied for the third highest amount of listings in a single week. So listings are way up. Sales, not so much. Active listings is climbing. We're now at 616 available detached properties for sale. If you think about that number, 616, I'm going to go back. 26 sold, but there's 616 available for sale. Months of inventory, overall, climbing slightly. It's not every single week that it's climbing, but overall, we were in the 2s and 3s and 4s, and now we're more consistently in the high 4s or 5. For this week, ending May 14th, we're at 5.5 months of inventory. That's the other, just north of what we say is a balanced market. Between 3 months to 5 months, we're saying is a balanced market. We're just on the other side of that at 5.5 months of inventory. Let's look at Richmond Hill. Richmond Hill is really tough to, when we look at it in this fashion, to really give you accurate average prices, just because sales are so low. So for this week ending May 14th, only 8 detached properties sold in Richmond Hill. 1 was at $2 million or more, and average sold price way down to $1,508,000. 1,508 is 22% lower year over year. The median price of 1,375 is 24% lower. 8 sold, 38% of those, little over a third, sold at list price or more. Listings, 77 were listed. Active listings also climbing, just like most areas right now. Months of inventory when sales are that low, way up there at 15.8. Here's Markham. Markham is a bit more steady. So 23 detached properties were sold. 3 of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price, though, it's following the same pattern as Vaughan. Average price is dropping down. It's now at $1,477,000, which is quite low. 1,477 is 15% lower year over year. The median price of 1,338 is 20% lower. Prices in Markham have been flat for a while. They're now starting to trend down a bit. 23 were sold, more than half, 61% sold at list price or more. Listings, 89 were listed. Active listings is climbing. There's 484 available detached properties for sale in Markham. And months of inventory is at 4.9, just at the top end of what we consider a balanced market before we get into a buyer's market. Here's a quick summary. In most cases, you're going to experience more of a balanced market. However, there's going to be pockets and neighborhoods that are going to be more of a buyer's market. And then there's going to be slight situations in there, and you're thinking, okay, balanced market, buyer's market, and then there's going to be a house that you like, that everybody else likes, and you're going to be competing for. Or they've dropped the price so low that it generates buyers competing and bidding for that one house. All sorts of things are possible out there in this market, but generally speaking, it's a balanced market or a buyer's market. Now check out the awesome log cabin. The link is on the screen behind me. Have an awesome day. Thank you.